Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wolf and welcome to another episode of My Open World. And before I continue this video, I just want to take a moment to note that I'll actually be taking another week break. So this will save me from having to create a whole channel update. Basically, in the video I created last week, I said I was going to be taking a 2-week break, and I knew E3 was coming, but I didn't anticipate how many videos or how much time I was going to spend watching it. So I was like, oh, I'll probably only be like, maybe a day to catch up on it all. And that wasn't the case. I've basically been watching E3 stuff the entire week pretty much. And this is why, if you haven't realized from the title of this video, I'm going to be discussing pretty much all the games that caught my attention for E3 2016, sort of in a way to make up for the lack of videos that will be coming out this week. So I'll be going in alphabetical order as well, so that's not really in order of preference or anything like that. But one game that did catch my attention was Absolver. This I wasn't tremendously impressed by it, but one of the things that caught my attention was the art style, but more importantly, the gameplay mechanics, like the martial arts gameplay that it seemed to show off in the video. It looks like it actually requires some sort of strategy and not just pure button mashing. But one thing that was like iffy for me was the pace. I mean, I kind of like the slow pace because when it comes to multiplayer and things like that, it'll sort of give you a chance to actually deflect attacks and block attacks and that sort of thing. So that was really good. But I'm hoping that there is an option, or that as you progress through the game, that it does get a lot more fast-paced. Another one that caught my attention, one that that I've been following for a while, was a game called Abzu. I think that's how you pronounce it. So the thing that caught my attention instantly was the visuals. Like when I saw that, I'm like, wow, this looks really good. But one thing that concerns me is that, from what I've seen in the trailers and stuff, it might potentially be a walking simulator. I mean, the game is based underwater, but walking simulators have sort of become their own genre, and that's what I think this might be. And if it is, I'm probably not going to grab it. But if not, if it does have quite a good amount of interaction, I think it'll make for a really good game. And so I'm really eager to see what they offer with that one. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on it from here on, because it looks really good. Now, I'm also going to point out that I might have some E3 footage in the background, so that really depends on how things go. As obviously, some of you might know, there are quite a few copyright issues at times with YouTube, so if I don't have any E3 footage, I might have a game and then some of the footage in the corner or something, but if I don't, then that means I've obviously had issues that I just can't do it. Otherwise, I will have links in the description. So if you click Show More, it will have a link in the description to each game that I discussed for the gameplay videos, so you can sort of watch through them and see whether you like them yourself. But moving on, Agents of Mayhem was something that caught my attention, mainly because it was... I found out that it was a spin-off to Saints Row Get Out of Hell. So it continues after the time period of Get Out of Hell, but also acts as a reboot to the Saints Row franchise. And I was really, really excited for it, but then I saw the gameplay, and I'm like, hang on a second, something's not right here. Like, it didn't look good. It was like, I was like, nah, this looks crap. I'm probably not going to touch it. Hopefully, Volition work on an actual Saints Row game instead of this Agents of Mayhem thing, because it doesn't look like it's open world or anything like that. But the fact that it's in the Saints Row universe is pretty cool. That's definitely got me interested. There's also one that I only sort of found out about recently, today actually, just before recording this, Astroneer, which looks really good. Like, it's basically, from what I gather, it's an open world survival game in space and on procedurally generated planets. So obviously, very similar to No Man's Sky in a way. And, like, one of the things that caught my attention instantly was firstly the visuals, but the gameplay mechanics. Like, as many of you know, I love open world games, and the fact that it's got some sort of survival is kind of cool. Like, you can build things, it just looked like a really interesting game. It's too hard to say now because I've only really seen a little bit of gameplay footage for it, but not a tremendous amount, so we'll see from there. It's definitely on my watch list for obvious reasons. Another game that caught my attention, actually before E3, this is Battlefield 1. I really do like Battlefield games when it comes to first-person shooter multiplayer or competitive. I think that it does offer probably one of the best balanced military shooter experiences. Like, you've got other military shooters out there that are really good, like Insurgency and Arma. I would say Arma is a bit too over the top difficult, whereas Insurgency was really good because you don't know what the hell is going on. There's like no HUD. There's nothing to tell you who's friend or foe most of the time. You don't know if you killed an enemy. It's just like it's all out almost chaos pretty much. But Battlefield offers like a really good balance, and I'd be really interested in seeing what it does, especially now that it's sort of going back to its roots in a way. It's going back to that olden style sort of Battlefield, not like the modern day stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it straight away though, because the single player in Battlefield has always kind of been shit. So I'm not sure, because I'm not really heavy into FPS multiplayer games, so I might not get it straight away. But that brings me to one military shooter that does do single player campaigns really, really well, and that's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Now, I never jump with excitement whenever I hear a Call of Duty is being announced, but this one actually seems pretty interesting. I like the idea of being a leader and making choices in the story that can affect it. So that's an interesting concept. It seems like they're finally starting to take a step in the right direction. I think adding some sort of roleplay mechanics to the story can really help Call of Duty a lot. But multiplayer-wise, I probably wouldn't touch it. So I'm not likely to get Infinite Warfare straight away either. It really depends on how I feel at the time. Now, one that caught my attention and one that I really like, probably one of my top games this E3, is Days Gone. Now, I like post-apocalyptic games because they're just cool, and I know that the industry is oversaturated with them. Like, fair enough, and admittingly that is the case. But the thing is, there's very, very few of them that actually do this right. And for me, the right atmosphere can make or break a zombie game. So Dying Light did it so goddamn well. Dead Island did it okay as well. Wasn't the greatest game, but it did atmospheres pretty well, and that made it stand out a fair bit. But this one seems interesting. Days Gone, it seems to have that open world element, so that's definitely a plus for me. So I'm definitely going to check that out. I think I might be getting that one day one. It actually looks like a really good game. The zombies don't look like they're just plain dumb. They do look like they're going to put in some effort into trying to kill you. One of the things that the developer pointed out was that both you and the NPCs, or the freakers they call them in this, are actually trying to survive. So you're trying to survive, and in a way they're trying to survive. So that was something they pointed out that seemed really cool. So that was definitely one of my top E3 games for 2016. Another one that sort of caught my attention was Dead Rising 4. I can't remember. I think it was announced a little bit before E3. But, you know, I'm not a big fan of this particular franchise. But I ended up picking up, Dead Rising 3 on sale. And so I'm thinking, you know, I might as well grab 4 at some point, because it seems to have this I don't know, it seems to looks like it provides a good level of fun that's not too serious. You know, you just get in, you just stuff around and that sort of thing. It doesn't provide atmosphere or anything like that, but that seemed to change a little bit with number 3. So I'm kind of eager to see what they do with number 4. So another game that caught my attention pretty quickly was a game called Detroit Become Human. This one, I mean, the thing that caught my attention, I was really super excited just at the concept, like the fact that you could make so many different choices. But then I saw that it was being made by Quantic Dream, and I lost interest pretty much instantly, because they're not renowned for really making the most interactive games. So, I mean, depending on how interactive this one is, I might just end up watching a Let's Play, because usually, I mean, with, Beyond Two Souls, you could kind of just watch a Let's Play and you got the full experience out of the game. And that was no one's fault but the developers. So we'll see how that goes. I ended up watching, I think, I can't remember, was it Defend the Joe? I know he did Until Dawn, which Until Dawn didn't really seem that interactive either. So I might just see if he ends up playing, Detroit Become Human, and seeing if it's any good. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Oh yes, this was another one of my top E3s. Because I played Human Revolution, it was the first Deus Ex I ever played, and I absolutely loved it. I didn't play the first or the second one, or any of the ones prior to Human Revolution. I probably never will. But I think Human Revolution was really good. It had good freedom and stealth mechanics. The gadgets and skills were fun to use. And from what I've seen of Mankind Divided, it seems a lot more open and free. So I'm definitely sold. That's probably going to be a day one purchase for me on that one. Another one that stood out for me was Dishonored 2. I was pretty much sold the instant I saw this one was announced. And the reason being was because when I used to rate games, like many, many years ago, I gave it a 10 out of 10. It wasn't perfect, no, but it was so immersive for me. I loved the stealth gameplay. I loved just the skills and everything. Everything came together so well with that for me. And as some of you might know if you're following me on Twitter, I did end up pre-ordering the Collector's Edition a few days ago. No regrets yet. I can't wait to play as Emily and see what's new in the game. I don't doubt for a minute that I won't enjoy it. And even if I don't, I mean, the worst comes to worst, I have a really awesome mask that I will get with it. So, silver linings. Another one that really, really stood out for me, and this one I'm not entirely sure if I'm pronouncing it right, because it's literally just spelled F-E, like it's a two-letter game, so I'm pronouncing it as F, because I don't know if it's Fey or F, but I was hooked within the first 30 seconds of the trailer. The art style looked absolutely stunning, and the gameplay looks even more interesting. It looks like it's like a platformer-esque sort of game, but it actually looks really unique, so I'm super excited for that one. Definitely one of my top E3 games for 2016. Another game that stood out this E3 was For Honor. Now this game, from what I could see, it looks pretty repetitive, but I actually used to really, really like the Dynasty Warriors franchise. But that has kind of run its course for me, because that one got super repetitive, and they took out that element where you could sort of take over the whole battlefield. That was something that I really liked about that game. But For Honor seems to take things a bit further. Like, it's not just hack and slash like Dynasty Warriors. It actually seems like it requires a little bit of strategy. And it seems to have those large-scale little battles happening here and there, which is really cool. Also has a multiplayer element, which looks really interesting. So, I'm probably not going to grab it day one, but it definitely looks like something I'm going to want to play around the time that it comes out. Forza Horizon 3. Now, I think I featured the Fast and Furious DLC because I really liked that. Like, I didn't actually purchase Forza Horizon 2. I just played the Fast and Furious DLC, and that was nice. That was really good. And I was planning on getting 2, but then I saw 3 was announced, and I'm like, you know what, bugger it, I won't get 2, I'll get 3 instead. And then when I found out that it was going to be based in Australia, as some of you know, I am Australian, I was pretty much sold instantly. So there's a very high chance I'll be getting this one on day one. The driving mechanics in Horizon 2 felt really good. It's felt like what I've been waiting for out of a Need for Speed game for a long time. And it's not like a constricted to pure races. You've got street racing and everything, so it's really good, really free. It's open world. I'm looking forward to experiencing some of the Queensland areas in that game. There's some really nice driving roads up there from what I've heard. There's quite a lot of nice driving roads in Australia in general, so that'll be really cool. Gears of War was another one that popped up. Not tremendously impressed from what I could see, but I've been playing it since Gears of War 1, and I haven't had a chance to play Judgment, but I've liked the series overall. I think it had a decent-ish story. Gameplay was okay, tiny bit clunky at times, but it was fun. It had a co-op element as well, so that was a definite plus. I'm eager to see where the story goes from from here. So that's part of the reason I'm interested in this particular one, but not sold straight away. I probably won't get it day one. Really depends on what I'm playing at the time, how much I have on my plate. So we'll see. So another game that really caught my attention, probably not necessarily one of my top E3 games, but this was Ghost Recon Wildlands. When I saw the gameplay for it, I was really stunned. I had played Ghost Recon 1 back in 2003. This was the 2001 version, and I've been hooked ever since. I did skip a few here and there, but Wildlands actually seems very reminiscent of the openness that the first Ghost Recon delivered. Like, I remember I never experienced a game like that before. It was just open, and I could do all these objectives and things like that. It was really fun. Needless to say, if you are following me on Twitter, you will know that I did pre-order the Fallen Angel edition alongside Dishonored 2. I couldn't resist the little figurine thing that comes with it. It looks really, really awesome. Now, another one that really, really caught my attention was God of War. This is one of my top E3 games for 2016. I love this franchise. When it came to PS3, I was so happy. It was on a more advanced system. We'd get to see some nicer graphics. But then they announced that 3 was going to be the last one, and I was pretty shattered by that. And then they eventually started milking the franchise a bit, so I was like, this isn't really what I wanted when I wanted them to continue it. But say what you want about the new God of War, you can say that they're still milking the franchise, but this looks like they've done it smart. They've given themselves a clean slate without completely rebooting the series. They've gone, okay, let's continue it, but let's give Kratos a new life. Let's take him away from this Greek mythology, from the Greek gods. Let's say that he tries to get away from this. Now he has a family. Something that he was... I mean, the reason the God of War franchise, or God of War, happened was that Kratos wanted revenge against Ares, or the gods, for tricking him into killing his then family. And so now he's sort of got back to that point where he has a family. So this looks really good. I like that they're going for Norse mythology as well. The gameplay looks really nice. Visuals as usual. I expect nothing less than what I've seen. It looks amazing. Horizon Zero Dawn actually looks really good as well. I'm a tiny bit on the fence, but at the same time I'm also kind of sold. Because, I mean, visuals look amazing for it. That's pretty much a given. But the concept is what's got me sold the absolute most. It's like, I think robot dinosaurs or something. Yes, please. That seems really good. Gameplay-wise, it seems really good. And, you know, the character seems really cool. I'm just eager to explore that world of Horizon. Because it looks different. It looks like it's doing something different, doing something somewhat unique in a way. And that really stood out for me a lot. I was happy to actually see some more in-depth gameplay footage during E3. So another game, this one here, not only is it one of my top E3 games for 2016, it is my top E3 game for 2016 and my most anticipated game for this year. And that's Mafia 3. The reason why is because ever since I played The Godfather, I've wanted Rockstar Games to incorporate some of these crime boss mechanics from The Godfather and even some of the elements from San Andreas into a new GTA game, but they never did it. And that was kind of a bit sad, unfortunately. I didn't have much interest in Mafia 1 or Mafia 2. I played Mafia 1 for a bit and I was like, this is a bit because I had already played The Godfather, I had already played San Andreas, so my standards for what to expect in an open world shooter game were already pretty damn high. So I know Mafia 2, I've heard good things about it. I might play it at some point. Honestly, at this stage, I'm not too sure. But Mafia 3 looks like it's taken these crime boss mechanics and it's improving on them. It seems like it's gone for a proper open world game as well. I'm sold. Absolutely first day purchase for me. I like what they're doing. I want to be able to play a crime game where I feel like I'm actually progressing in the world of crime, like I'm actually becoming a crime boss and things like that. So that stood out for me a lot. Definitely day one purchase for me. No questions asked. From what I've seen of the gameplay, I'm pretty satisfied with that. So another one that stood out for me was Prey. I never actually played Prey 1, and I was super excited to try Prey 2. I heard good things about Prey 1, and then Prey 2 was you're going to be like a bounty hunter in an open world space game. I was like, fuck yeah, man, this is something I really want. And apparently it's been cancelled, and they've got this whole new approach with Prey, and I kind of took a leap back. I didn't take a step back, I took a leap back because I don't know where they're going with this. It doesn't. I'm not sure what they're doing. I am going to keep an eye on it. I think the game I'm playing just crashed as well. Holy cow, what the hell happened there? Okay. So yeah, I am playing something in the background while I'm recording this, but you don't need to know what I'm playing. Because I might not be putting that footage up. Who knows? Secrets. So yeah, I'm not too sure what I'm going to be doing about Prey. I'll be watching it closely, that's for sure. Recore I've been following for a while. It seems like it's offering some interesting mechanics. I'm glad that I got to see a little bit more during E3, even though it was sort of last minute. But I don't know. It seems like it's going to get repetitive. That's something that's worrying me about it. It looks like it's doing something interesting. It looks like it's going back to the roots of those old school sort of platformers, like a little bit Ratchet and Clank, a little bit of Jack and Daxter and all that sort of stuff mixed in. So it seems really good. But it looks like it's going to get repetitive, and that's a tad bit off-putting for me. So another one that stood out, South Park, The Fractured Butthole. It's South Park, so there's not much to be said here. I liked the first one. It was really funny. The humor was good. And the gameplay mechanics, although I'm not fond of those RPG-style mechanics, I still enjoyed it for the most part. I still haven't even finished it as well, so take that in mind. So I'm definitely getting the Fractured Butthole. Most likely day one. Not too sure. Depends on what I'm playing at the time, but high chance I'm going to be grabbing it day one. The new Spider-Man. Holy hell. Nearly every single Spider-Man game I've played, I've enjoyed a lot. Like, this is, I don't know how it's been possible, but I've played a lot of them, and I've been pretty happy with them for the most part. I actually skipped The Amazing Spider-Man 2, though, because I actually heard some worrying things about it, so I'll probably stay away from that one. But yeah, one of the things that caught my attention the most was the animations in this. Like, I really liked how he was like running through the cafe and things like that. The visuals look really good. I mean, there's not much you can really mess up with the Spider-Man game, to be honest. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching this one. Probably won't be getting it day one, but I'm hooked. I'm intrigued. Definitely going to be watching it. Another one that stood out for me was State of Decay 2. Because I played the first one and I really liked it, but the developers did a little bit of a big no-no with that one. I think they released multiple versions of it, and then they released like a year one edition or something, and they were charging the people who originally purchased it the full price for it. And they mentioned that anyone, like the problem, well, not really full price. They mentioned that anyone who purchased it would get it at a discount. The discount wasn't nearly enough, and to boot, the discount was only temporary. So that was a bit of an issue. And the problem is, by the time you looked into it, at least for me, the discount had already ended, so the game had gone full price. And not to mention, apparently there was still a lot of bugs that were evident in the first one that was still in State of Decay year one. So that wasn't really good. But I liked the first one a lot. I liked the overall atmosphere was really good. The mechanics were really good. I liked the base building and things like that. I liked that if your character died, you lost it. You lost that character, but you got to play as another survivor. That was one of the most interesting things about the game. So we'll see what they do with 2, but I'm heavily on the fence because I don't trust... was it Undead Labs? I think that's their name. I don't trust them anymore. After that stunt they pulled, I'm a bit scared, to be honest. I've lost a lot of trust, a lot of faith in those developers. And it's sad because they were doing it so right. I mean, it could have been Microsoft's fault, who knows. But it seems like they were sort of rolling with it pretty happily. So another one that caught my attention was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm not really a Nintendo gamer at all, pretty much. Like, but as a gamer in general, I'm always interested to see what they've got coming out on the console. Like, I just can't help it. Like, I just like, what have they got now? What's this? I want to play this. I want to play that, but I can't. Partially because I'm not really fond of the way Nintendo treats YouTubers. So I could get their consoles, but I don't have that much free time to play their stuff. So, you know, kill a few birds with one stone situation. Why bother paying for their consoles, you know, when I can't showcase their stuff, when there's other consoles that I can buy that are okay with that sort of thing. But this one seems really good. Like, it actually seems like they've gone for a full-on open world experience. It seems like they're growing with their fan base as well. Like, they've added some elements that make the game seem not necessarily. The word I kind of want to use is grittier, but it doesn't seem that way. Like, it's probably the best way I can describe the situation or the game. But yeah, I'm really eager to see what will happen with that. You know, one day I might buy a Wii U. Yeah, I might. I'm not saying I'm completely against them. Like, as a gamer, I want to play this stuff. Principles and stuff sort of get in the way. And yeah, The Walking Dead Season 3. As I mentioned, I'm not fond of point and click games at all, but if you've been keeping up with what I've been posting on my channel, then you'll know I've been somewhat hooked into The Walking Dead Season 1. I'm planning on playing Season 2, and I don't plan on stopping there. So I'm definitely excited to see what's going to happen in Season 3. Won't be getting it straight away because I haven't had a chance to play 400 Days in Season 2 yet. So, I mean, it depends. If I finish it by then yeah, it's just I've got other projects and stuff I'm focusing on. Titanfall 2. I wasn't interested in the first one, mainly because it was multiplayer, and like it was multiplayer only. But this one's actually got a campaign, so I am very eager to see what they do, mainly because, like, the first one wasn't bad. It seemed like it was offering some really unique mechanics, a unique, like, just a unique view, basically, on competitive gaming, and that stood out for me then, but because it was only multiplayer, I had no reason to really buy it. Just wasn't really that interested in that sort of thing. So getting pretty close to the end of the list here, we've got Watch Dogs 2. I absolutely hated the first one. The story was okay, not necessarily the greatest. The gameplay felt a little too similar to Assassin's Creed for my liking, so I was a bit off. But why I hated the first one the most was the driving mechanics. They were horrendous. The worst driving mechanics I've ever experienced in any game. That was until I played The Crew. But from what I've seen of 2, I'm not overly impressed. I'm not hyped for it as much. Maybe I think number 1 is sort of holding down my hype, the hype that I could be having for number 2, because I like open world games and I want to like Watch Dogs 2. But from what I've seen, it's just like, I don't know. If they improve the driving mechanics, though, I'm definitely going to be trying it out. So another one that stood out for me a lot, and I'm not always into like psychological horrors or thrillers, but We Happy Few. This one, I've been watching this one for a while. Like, it's been on my watch list. Actually, I should point out, if I haven't already mentioned it, I do have an Excel spreadsheet with all the games that I am tracking. In fact, I'm gonna let recording me know. You should probably put up a screenshot of it so people can get a gist of what the hell I'm talking about. But moving on, this We Happy Few, it seems really, really weird, but in a good way, and I like that. It's the funny thing is, I was sold on it in a way, but I hadn't seen any gameplay for it, and at the same time I was a little bit skeptical. But when I saw the gameplay, it actually looks a lot more in depth than I expected. But I'm still going to need to see a little bit more, because it's got survival mechanics and everything. Like, you have to eat, you have to drink. It seems a bit weird. It seems just a little bit out of place for the kind of game that it is. So I'm not sure. That one was a little bit odd. But I'm eager to see what they do with that one. It definitely looks somewhat interesting. And the last one on the list, Yooka-Laylee. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I missed out on Banjo-Kazooie growing up, so naturally I really wanted to play those sort of games. I never got a chance to because we just couldn't afford the consoles at the time, and I couldn't convince the folks to get me one, so I missed out on them completely. Was saddened that the series ended before it actually got a chance to experience the new consoles. That was a little bit shattering, you know. I was like, oh yeah, I get to play this now, even though I've missed out on all of them. But I'm glad that the developers have sort of overcome the issues. I'm not sure if this one isn't by Rare. This is by, I think, a company called Playtonic or something. I'm not too sure. But I know it's not the exact same company because before it was Rare. But I think they're the same people that worked on it. I don't know. All I know is that they're making a comeback with this. It's sort of a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. So yeah, naturally I'm very intrigued by this, and it looks very reminiscent of Banjo-Kazooie. Not many games like this exist, so I'm really eager to see what they do. But that's pretty much it. That's all I have for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this. I would love to do this every year that there's an E3, because I think there's always interesting games and always stuff that I want to talk about, but I just don't get a chance to. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've missed quite a few. I was actually, in a way, I was kind of looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2 being shown at E3. But the thing is, Rockstar just don't need E3. They're a really high-tier developer. I mean, I'm not making them sound like kings or anything like that, but inevitably they are pretty high up there. They do not need E3 to advertise or gain publicity. That's all done for the community, by the community, sorry. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you agree, if you find any of these games interesting yourself, if there are any games that you think I missed, or any games that you think that did stand out for yourself that I might be interested in as well. I'd love to see what some of you guys have to say. And you should let me know if you like the video in general. I think I said that already. But yeah, most importantly, let me know what you thought of this year's E3. I know some people weren't impressed, but I think overall it was a pretty good E3. It was definitely better than last year's. But yeah, I'm going to end that one there. And as usual, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next video.